Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's your boy Souls of the Job It Is podcast, and I hope all is well. We are back for another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends, and today I got the bearded legend himself, Smooth Blackmon of the Black Thoughts podcast. Welcome, brother, to another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends. What's
Yo, what's
going
up,
on,
bro?
bro? What's going on? Huh?
I'm good, man. I'm happy. I'm happy to be here. I'm a huge fan of Coffee Talk. You already know that. Got the merchandise chilling back at the crib. I'm a huge fan of Bodega Coffee from Jump. That's something me and you got in common.
Let, but hold on. Let the streets know about Bodega Coffee, though, bro. Let the streets know about how great that corner store coffee is.
bro. So like most of these bodegas, some of them joints like they open. Some of them open 24 hours. Most of them close at night, and it's got like a little window open. But at 5 a.m., when they unlock those doors because they know everybody's on the way to work, you need a quick pick me up. That's not even just like a pick me up. That's a pick me up. Slam your ass on your head. That's what bodega coffee is. You like something like it's pre-workout. It's pure uncut cocaine. Like low key, that's what rappers really be talking about when they talking about they selling that shit. They selling bodega coffee. Like
Yes,
that is
Bodega Coffee is the first time I never really drank it before. I'll be honest with you. I never really drank it before. And then during the pandemic, I went a couple times to the bodega because I was like, because I would be up early because I just wake up early, and then I'd be like, let me try the coffee, and it hit my system at 6 a.m. and it was still in my system at about 4 p.m. No lie, like bodega coffee is on another level of strength. I don't know what they put in there, like you said, but it's on another level.
yo, like I got it from so like I used to like work out with a rest in peace to like good brother from House of Glory, pro wrestling legend, always legend, Mr. John Xavier that passed away
Mm-hmm.
last year. So while we used to work out with us at home, like give us lessons, I never used like pre workout because it would always make me crash. So
Mm-hmm.
he was like, hey, so like pre workout, stay away from it. Like use natural things. Green tea, black coffee. So like green tea has caffeine and it wasn't hitting enough for me. So like I started using black coffee. Black coffee's my thing. I'm a man of convenience. Had like a little 7-Eleven bodega right next to my gym in Bed-Stuy. Stop in every morning right there, get like a nice fresh cup. Either straight black, if I'm feeling a little thugged out, maybe a little maybe a little equal in it. Yo, just like you said, I take that at like 6 a.m., 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m. that night. I'm still going. And that's a small cup. That's like small. I'm just like,
Bruh, it hits differently because I've had other forms of coffee like Starbucks coffee. Like I've had Starbucks Nitro coffee, which is like their strongest coffee. Not the same thing. I used to remember when I was a teacher at a private school, we had coffee for the teachers, and it was free. I remember I used to grab a cup. I would have to grab like 2 or 3 cups just to stay up. But when I tell you, people who are watching this who are not from New York City Bodega Coffee is on another level of caffeinated beverage. But let's move past the coffee, even though we're on Coffee Talk with Friends. We like to start off with love here. And so I want to know, what are you currently loving in professional wrestling?
so first things first, if you check us out over at Black Thoughts, like at Black Thoughts at BLAKTHOUGHTZ. Myself and my girl Ashe the EP. Every Wednesday we do Black Women Wednesdays because we give it up to our sisters, our queens. I
Mm-hmm.
love the fact that the ladies in pro wrestling are getting the top spot right now. I love the fact that they are getting their due. It is just melanin and natural hair all over my TV screen, all over my computer screen. I'm loving it week in and week out. We see night one of WrestleMania. We got to see Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks in the main event. As we all know, they are the first. They are the first two black women to main event WrestleMania. I don't know why it wasn't said enough, but I guess maybe it's a statistic that only I cared about. It's actually the first all African American main event too. There's never been two black male wrestlers that in main event WrestleMania ever.
Nope, not at all. It was one of the greatest moments in professional wrestling history because, I mean, we had that Kofi moment, and that was amazing. Yes. But for me personally, this hit different because it was women, and it was two black women. Because, but let's be real, it's hard enough to be a black male in professional wrestling. It's even harder to be a black woman in professional wrestling.
Yes.
And to see them be at the mountaintop at the Super Bowl of professional wrestling was like, how did your girl feel about it? Because I know your host is a black female. So how did she feel about that particular match?
It was very emotional for her. She loved it. It's just she loves Bianca. She's a mix of both. Like I'll say, but I think like that's why representation matters like so much, because you can look at these women like you can see your mother, you can see your sister, you can see your cousins, like, and I loved it. I just loved it so much.
Yeah, it was one of those things where you're just like, yo, this is some fire. This is some real dope shit. So where do you think they're gonna take Bianca from here? Because right now, she's the mega baby face in the company, or potentially to be the mega baby face in the company. Matter of fact, not where do you think they're gonna take? Where do you think they should take her? As a man who wrestles as well, who's in the business, in the independent scene, shout outs to HOG House of Glory, where do you think they should take Bianca Belair?
So if I get the pen and it's up to me, I would make Bianca top baby in the company. Actually,
in what way?
I'm sorry, Dad.
No, in what way? Well, like, what would you do exactly?
Oh, because
come on, book baby.
Like I said, if what I saw was correct, she's the only babyface champion in the company right now.
Yep, that is true.
See, makes it a lot easier. As far as SmackDown goes, she has the most charisma out of any babyface on the roster, period. Right now. So if it's me, I booked this whole Sasha Bianca thing for the next year in my head. As a fan, I can see everything that I love in it. As far as like, because it's a business at the end of the day. There's potentially millions of dollars out of these two women in the next 12 months, if done correctly.
I like what you're saying, so I'm gonna push back a little bit, but I'm gonna pull you back in. So I think they should put Bianca on a Cena type of run. I am 100% with you of her being the top baby face, but there's certain things that she did in the promos that I was just like, you know what? She could be the female Cena. Because she's all about representation, always about uplifting people, EST, doing the right thing. Doesn't that represent what Cena was? Yes, loyalty, respect.
Yeah.
The salute to the troops, all of that. All of that is very Cena-ish that she had. So when I saw that promo that she cut, I thought exactly the same thing. I was like, make her the mega baby face. Because it's already there. the ingredients in it, just mix it in a bowl and make her a mega baby face. Now you're Sasha cutting the Sasha thing. I like that, but I'll keep them away from each other. Just for a little bit.
I would periodically.
Yeah.
I would
keep. But I would slide other competition in there.
Yeah, I would. So I'm sorry. Keep going.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. It's a conversation. It's called me talking friends. You a friend today.
Because we have the big fours.
Mm-hmm.
So I would only do this 3 times. So one of them got to sit out. So we have Sasha versus Bianca 1 at Mania this year. I would put 3 at Mania next year. And in my head, that's the main event again next year.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying Bianca and Sasha again next year in Dallas?
That's what I would want to see. That's what I would do.
I'm not mad with that because it does something because it raises Bianca's stock. But I really think, and this is just my opinion, Sasha got to elevate, got to switch up the character. You were against this. I remember I tweeted about this, and I put the status up. You were against this. So what are your thoughts on Sasha's character, the boss gimmick?
In all honesty, from what I saw at Mania, it could be that. Because, like, I would have to see... Because, like, now, her gear was black and green, right? It wasn't blue.
Yeah, you're 100% right.
This is like some, like... You remember, like, when they had, like, the evil Pokemon cards and shit?
That's what I was saying.
Yo, it's like, I'm like, like, this Sasha could be like the worst form of Sasha ever. Cause it's not like, like I'm like the boss. And it's like that heel. It's like now it's like basically in many ways, Bianca and Sasha are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And on the show of shows, the rookie like outclassed her. First try. First match, their first one-on-one, outclassed. And this was a vicious Sasha. She wasn't a heel like going into this, but she was just like, she was like the aggressor in this. She pulled out literally just about all the tricks that she would have pulled out in like her darker years before. Like she was going at it and she still came up short. How much more aggressive does she have to get her title back? How much further is she willing to go to get her title back? And I want to see that shit.
And that's what I said, because I had said that she needs to lose the title because it fucks you up your head, like you said. And in sports, for instance, when what's his name? Not Joe Montana. Who was the next star player on San Francisco 49ers? Forget it. I used to know something like when Peyton Manning could never get past Tom Brady. Fucks up your head psychology. Fucks up your head. When Michael Jordan couldn't get past the Detroit Pistons. It works so well because and Sasha is going to Charles the Big Baby from the Your Sports show. Sasha is going to end up doing the Chelsea Green hot mess character. And I said that is the only way Sasha moves forward because the boss character is great. It was a great character. I thought it was amazing. It did what it needed to do. But if you look at every wrestler, the great ones, their character doesn't necessarily have to change, but they add layers. Layers. We saw with The Rock, and a little bit Stone Cold documentary was this past weekend. We saw it with Stone Cold. Stone Cold was started off with being that, that Stone Cold killer type of guy. Then he elevated he changed to something else. Couple mistakes made, when he was a heel, but there's still like a evolution of the character. You mentioned Pokemon. Like, you can't stay a Squirtle forever. Like, you gotta go to a Wartortle and you gotta go to a Blastoise. So I love that you said that, and being that the women are getting that center stage, as you can see on NXT has like 3 women's matches on every episode of NXT half the time.
Yes, and we also have to show love like outside of the company. Kira and Tasha are absolutely killing it over at Impact.
Yeah.
Like, they are killing it right now. They have the tag titles. Easy. Whenever their tag title reign is over, even though I hope my queens reign forever. Wow, I hope my queens reign forever. Those are easily two future Knockouts champions right there.
Yeah, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. But we've been talking a lot of good stuff right now. So let's get to something bad. Let's sip on some hateration right now. So, what are you currently hating in professional wrestling?
All right, so it's not even just current. This has been like a couple years for me. This is even back before. This is like 10 years ago, before I started training. When I was just like, a fan myself, going to shows, online, reading the blogs and shit on social media, just checking out the scene. And I don't really use the H word unless I'm talking about Derek Chavon, who we smoking on his pack today. Hopefully he rocks wherever he gonna rock. I hate wrestling fans that watch for the sole purpose of complaining. It's like, my brother, are you did you tune into this to even try to be entertained, or do you just want to go against the grain? Because it's just people I see, like, the show will start at 8:00 and people be complaining at 7:59. And it's like, that's like, what are you doing? Like, did you give a chance or anything? I know you saw that picture where they had all the women together. They had the titles, and Rhea had her plates on her championship, but Bianca didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And this was a thing. Like, Bianca's being disrespected. She doesn't have a place yet. And it's like, bro, like, it's a photo shoot. 2 days after. How you know they have them places just made?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. And it's
That's
like,
true.
also like, oh yeah. Like, yeah, like, I like, also, like, we gotta give WWE so, like, bro, even like most companies more credit. Like, hey, for the most part, fans are catered to, and one way or another, they're given what they want. But if it's not exactly the way that they want it, it's a problem.
Yeah. I'm with you because it's the truth. It's the truth. Fans in general, and I've been guilty of that too. Of like, what the hell is going on, type of shit. It's because this is the only sport where it's predetermined. So I think many fans are just like, yo, it should be this way. It should be this way. Because, it's a predetermined thing. Like, they never talk about basketball and other sports, football like that. They'll hate the team. They'll complain about what the team is doing and about the player. But in general, they'll be like, yo, this is horrible. And then they say some fucked up shit. Like, I've seen people say Vince needs to die. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Yo, chill.
Too. That's like,
yo, chill. Yo, chill. Like, listen. Vince has his issues. Vince ain't perfect. But at the end of the day, the reason why 99% of us watch wrestling is because of Vince McMahon. Let's just keep it a whole ass book. Like, I
don't totally agree, but I get exactly what you're saying.
But what do you disagree with, though?
Because I don't know. Like, I've met people that, like, WWE was not their introduction to wrestling. It was mine, and admittedly, it was mine. But I met people who were introduced by other companies.
Of course. So if anybody around our age was either WCW or ECW,
yes,
or WWE, WWF, yes. But the reason why those companies came around was to compete with WWE. Remember we talked about a while ago about how when WrestleMania comes into town, WWE's at the top, and then they pour water and everybody's drinking from the fountain of WWE.
Yes.
Remember we spoke about that a while ago? That's what happened. WCW became hot because it was using WWE's former talent, and they did a great job. They had their own spin on it.
To be fair,
ECW, huh?
to be fair, and even Eric Bischoff has addressed this before, a lot of that talent was WCW talent that WWE took and then WCW reclaimed. Scott Hall was in WCW first.
As like, but who made Scott Hall hot?
That's WWF. But where'd they find him? So was Kevin Nash.
Okay, we can argue. So was Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yes, he was.
If we're gonna go that direction, you can
Eddie Guerrero, Benoit, and then to go further down the rabbit hole, WCW was still from ECW.
And ECW was taken from WCW. But it was a big old thing of everybody still from everybody, but it was three main companies of WWE. Speaking of that, companies in general, and wrestling fans complaining, what do you think about AEW? Personally, I think I may have some issues with it, but I think it's very, very, very much needed in wrestling right now. And it's a very important piece to wrestling. Regardless of how I feel about certain things that they do, I think it's very important to wrestling right now. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's very important to wrestling as well, on many levels. Basically, because we know like the guys that like came together and did this, aside from like Tony Khan, who I'm guessing was like, I would assume he was an indie fan for him to even be around like all these people. For the guys who are running it, Cody, who didn't come from the indies but went there and like flourished there, Young Bucks, Kenny Omega. To their credit, say what you want about AEW, the booking, how it's run, whatever. I really got shit to do. I'm gonna do with that. AEW is for the culture of professional wrestling, and I appreciate it so much. Like even like on the main stage, where it's like it's something you won't see in WWE, and I completely understand why you won't see it in WWE because it's a publicly traded company. Yo, I'm not giving y'all my time. I get it in WWE, but in AEW, they acknowledge New Japan Pro Wrestling. They acknowledge Impact Wrestling. Maybe MLW, I could be wrong, but they're acknowledging that these other international companies exist. And like even basically just mentioning like their name on live TV gives these companies the rub, because they're gonna get fans that are just like flipping through channels, find wrestling, and now hey, they've created a casual fan now, and then they hear like CMLL, they hear MLW, Impact Wrestling, and they can go look for these things. This is how I got introduced. It was like I found. When TNA started coming on TV in 2005, they got a lot of their talent from Ring of Honor. And they would mention Ring of Honor on TV. So I'm like, oh, what's Ring of Honor? I Googled it. And I had dial-up, so it took like 10 minutes for me to get results, but I found Ring of Honor. I'm a huge ass indie fan. And also, like, they use their platform to still highlight indie wrestlers on Dark Elevation and Dark. It's just like that's giving back to the coach. Like they're not gonna sign everybody, but they out here getting these dudes 10,000 views. People who never seen them or heard their name before. That's important to the culture to keep things moving.
Yeah, it's super important. I mean, we see guys who are from the Northeast and from our area, from our school, get a moment. And to be honest, if a person gets a couple of matches on AEW Dark Elevation, it puts money in their pocket at the moment, and it also puts money in their pocket for the future. Because now, hey, I got 10,000 views on YouTube because I've spoken to you about this. That's currency. Views are currency.
Yes.
I'm getting views over here. My name's a little bit bigger now, so that $50 in a handshake, I need $100 in a handshake now. So yeah, totally understand the importance of it to the wrestling world, not the community, the
Yeah.
wrestling world. Go ahead,
No,
brother.
I won't with that. So also, this is something that's underrated. And that it was mentioned to me like last week by a couple of brothers that had done like Dark and Elevation, because it's not just like, yeah, I did AEW Dark, I did AEW Elevation, and now that I'm back on the Indies, they also get to go over there and they're working with the roster. And back there, like they get to go back behind that curtain. They're getting feedback from Kenny Omega. They're getting feedback from the Young Bucks. If you're anything like me, like what I want, you're getting feedback from Big Show. You're getting feedback from a Jim Ross, from a Taz. So you're back there, like you go up there, you show you stuff, you come back, and the veterans, the real veterans, are giving you game, teaching you and helping you better yourself, and you can take that back out there on the Indies.
Yeah,
and that goes on your resume. It's like, like, because you have, like, we both have our issues with the Indies and how things are done on the Indies. I would say that, like, hey, like, I know this is what you want done in your promotion. Big Show told me not to do this, so I'm not gonna do it. WrestleMania 2000 main eventer Paul White told me this was the wrong way to do it, so I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah, 100%, 100%, 100% right about that. So you spit some hot fire today, but I want to know, what is your hot coffee take of the day? Talk to me, bro. Talk to me.
All right, my brother, black family out there, Jabba Tears Nation. My hot coffee take of the day is the WWE is not the be all end all of professional wrestling.
Oof. Let's talk about it.
So as I said earlier, like, hey, my introduction to professional wrestling was WWE. What made me a fan? No, that's what. So that's what made me a fan. What made me want to become a professional wrestler? What made me want to enter this business was Ring of Honor.
Ooh.
That was my very first live event, 2008. I was like 17 years old. My very first live event ever was a Ring of Honor show. The very first person that I ever called my favorite professional wrestler was AJ Styles. And that's from like their debut on like 2005 TNA. And then of course, like diving deep into that, you start buying like DVDs. You find Amazing Red, you find SAT. These are actually my favorite professional wrestlers. That's not even cap. Like I met these dudes, I train with these dudes. I get to mark out a little to myself every day. I can mark out live, but like all I want is that we have to, as fans and as workers, we have to start putting respect on these other companies. Oof. And in doing so, we put more respect on ourselves as workers, at least.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like everyone, like, so especially in the Indies, everyone is trying to make it to the top. Everyone is trying to make it to the next level. What about respecting the level that you're already on? What about maximizing your minutes? What about maximizing your profits? What about like, hey, like you're going hey, you can go to a TNA, you can go to an MLW, CMLL, to player. How old are these companies? How prestigious are these titles? That everyone's just like, well, I want to go to WWE. Impact Wrestling and Ring of Honor both turn 20 years old next year. That is twice as long as WCW ran. Yes, it was an offshoot of NWA. Both of those companies have survived longer than WCW. And I would argue have produced more original stars who are Hall of Fame worthy.
So, question I asked you then, what do you feel about when fans say that a wrestler's selling out when they go to WWE?
You can't tell me, well, so for the most part, I know it's a small world. As a fan, you don't know that professional wrestler. You can't tell me I'm selling out when this was my goal from the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Your goals for me as a fan, like, it's respectable and it's cool. You can't tell me I'm selling out when, like, hey, I wanted to be a WWE superstar.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not selling out. Like, this was my goal. And you can't tell me I'm selling out when, like, hey, let's be real about it. WWE has the most money. That doesn't mean everyone there is making the bank that you think they are making. We've also found that out to be true. But still, like, I think fans, there's just people who hate popularity. They hate corporations. They hate the big guy. So it's just like, for them, it's like seeing like wrestlers go to WWE. Is that for them? It's like selling out. It's like everyone hates you when like they hate the popular crowd. But so when they see you eating lunch with the cool kids, like it feels like betrayal. You ever saw Mean Girls when that main character like started hanging out with the popular chicks and like her two friends was like, oh, she left us. It was like, nah, like they're just cool people over there too.
And that's how it is, man. But we're gonna end another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends. Brother Smooth Blackmon, let them know where they can find you.
Well, definitely hit us up on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter. First I'm gonna pump my own stuff, my own podcast, because pro wrestling and uplifting the community. First things first, catch me at Black Thoughts at BLAKTHOUGHTZ. Always get caught up at the end there. Make sure you like and subscribe to the YouTube page. Make sure you subscribe to the Spotify. You can catch our episode Being a Black Man in 2021 that is up on all streaming platforms now. Hit the link in our bio. For more professional wrestling posts, you can catch me at Smooth Blackmon, SMOOTHEBLACKMON _.
Yes.
And you can catch me in the streets of Brooklyn, man. Just out here being black and handsome. And I'm taking though. She can fight, but
brother, thank you for coming on to this episode. It was a pleasure to have you on, ladies and gentlemen. This was another episode of Coffee Talk with Friends.
Peace.